All right, hey there, guys. Today we're going to talk about identifying parallel and perpendicular slope and write the equations of parallel lines. I got a quick warm up here for you. Graph these two lines, M, B, all that business on the coordinate plane. And then I didn't give you a whole bunch of room here. You got to be a little tight, but then write the equation of the line through these 2 points in point slope form and slope intercept form. Just in case you need it, y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x sub 1. Take a minute and graph these and find the equation of the line through those points. Press pause and hook that up. Alright, so hopefully you got here the slope is negative 1/2, b is the 0.05. Let's plot the 0.05 with a slope of negative 1/2. So I go down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. Or I could go up 1 and left 2. But our line is going to look something like that. And then this other one, I got a slope of 2, where b is the 0.0 negative 4. So 0 negative 4 with a slope of 2, which means I go up 2, this is 2 over 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, or down 2, left 1. And I have a line like that. Alright, so graphing those two lines, and then this one, first thing I gotta do is find the slope between these 2 points, and you know how I like the jumps. Oops, that's not negative 4, it's 4, negative 3, and negative 6, 2. So to get from negative 3 to 2, it's going up 5. And to get from 4 to negative 6, it's going down 10. So the slope is 5 over negative 10, which reduces to negative 1/2. And then our point slope form, I'm going to choose this. Oops, yikes. I'm going to choose this first point. And so point slope form, putting it in this form here, it's going to be y minus negative 3 or plus 3 equals negative 1/2 x minus 4. And then when I distribute, I'm going to get y plus 3 is equal to negative 1/2 x. And then negative 1/2 times negative 4 is positive. What's half of 4? 2. And then when I subtract 3 from both sides, I get y is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 1. Alright, so this part I didn't ask you to do, but let's go ahead and graph this. If I was to graph this, what's our y-intercept here? Well, hopefully you know that it's 0, negative 1. Plot that point. With a slope of negative 1/2, which means I go down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. Or up 1, left 2, of course. And I'm going to draw that line. And there's an interesting relationship here. Check out my green line and my blue line. Look at those. Do you think they're ever going to go... Well, look at this red line. This red line intersects both of them. What I mean by intersect is it crosses it. Just like a plane goes and intersects grand. The red line intersects both of these. But look at the blue line and the green line. Will those two lines ever go and intersect? Hopefully it looks like no. They're running at the same rate. And they're far apart. And so they'll never go and touch. What is similar between the green line, this equation, and the blue line, which was this equation? I should circle that in blue instead of green, huh? Come on, Smith. What's similar? Well, it turns out, look at this. They both have the same slope. So since they have the same slope, they're running at the same rates. They are never going to go and cross each other. They are parallel. Lines that never cross are called parallel. So down here in this new box here, check this out. Parallel lines, and there's a symbol for that. The symbol for parallel lines is, it's like a giant 11. Like two parallel lines, right? Check this out. We just said how these two things have the same slope. Now, it turns out that this red line is perpendicular to the green line and the blue line. Now, perpendicular means it intersects it, not just at any crazy angle like this. These two lines here that I just drew are not perpendicular because I have an acute angle and I have an obtuse angle there. But these lines are perpendicular, which means they intersect at a right angle. You'll learn more about that in geometry next year. But perpendicular, look at the slopes of the perpendicular. This one was -1/2, the blue one. But the red line is positive. So instead of negative, it's positive. And it's also flipped. It's the reciprocal. Perpendicular lines, perpendicular has a symbol like an upside down T. Perpendicular lines have opposite and reciprocal slopes. It has to be both at the same time. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. You're going to talk a lot more about that next year in geometry. The big thing I need you to know today, parallel lines have the same slope. And so we're going to pick up with this. Now again, I didn't give you a whole lot of room to draw here, guys. Or, to work. But I think we'll figure it out. We'll budget our work appropriately. All right, this first one, it says, write an equation of a line through the point 2,5. So I'm going to make a quick little sketch here. Nothing fancy. The point 2,5 is some point that's just floating there, right? So write an equation of a line through this point and parallel to the line 3x plus 7. So 3x plus 7, y-intercept is 7 with a slope of 3. Some line like this, right? So I have a point that's floating out there and I have a line. They want us to find the equation of the line parallel to this line and through this point, something like this. You with me on that? All right. So they want it in both point slope form and slope intercept form. Well, they gave us the point right there, yeah? But what's the slope? Well, if it's parallel to this line here, what is the slope of this line? The slope of this line is 3. And remember, we just got done saying that parallel lines have the same slope. So here's my point. If we're parallel to this line and the slope is 3, then the slope we're using is 3. So we're using the point 2,5, and our slope is 3. Can we put that in point slope form? I think we can, right? Hopefully you got the formula still up top. Y minus, y sub 1 in this case is 5, equals 3 times the quantity of x minus 2. So that's our point slope form. We got that. But they also want it in slope intercept form. So we got to do y minus 5 equals 3x minus, we're distributing here, right? Minus 6. And then we're going to add 5 to both sides. And I have just different color. Move up here to get y equals 3x. What's negative 6 plus 5? Minus 1. That is our slope intercept form. So here's our slope intercept form. And this one was our point slope form. All right, put in point slope form, do a little bit of work, and get to slope intercept form. Here they wanted both. All right, this next one. I'm going to make a quick sketch. This sketch part is optional. Write an equation of a line parallel to this line. So if I was to graph this line, it would be something like the y-intercept is 1 with a slope of 7/5, which means it goes up 7, right 5, up 7, right 5. Some sort of line like this, yeah? And through the point -4, 7. So again, some point just floating up there. It's going to be parallel to that line through that point. All right, so, and all they wanted in is point slope form. So, do we got a point? Of course we do, right there. They gave us the point. Point check. What about the slope? Do we know the slope? Well, if it's parallel to this line, what's the slope of this line? The slope is 7/5. So we're using this point and this slope. Put it in point slope form. Ready, go. Did you do it? I hope you did. Did you get y minus 7 equals 7/5 times the quantity of x plus 4? That's our point slope form. Now, did they want us to put it in slope intercept form? No, so guess what? We did it. That's it. Stop there. That was it. Don't make this stuff hard. All right, let's do the next one. The last one. It says parallel to this line. Remember, parallel symbol. Parallel to this line through this point. So again, if you want to make the little sketch, you don't have to. But this line, y-intercept of 3 with a slope of 1/4, up 1, right 4. So it's something like this. And here's some point, 8, 2, just kind of floating there. They want us to find the equation that's parallel to that line going through that point. So, but here's the thing. They want it in slope-intercept form. Oh, man. Did they give us the y-intercept? No. So no matter what do we got to start with? Still got to start in point-slope form. So here's a point, and if it's parallel to this line, there's a slope. Put it in point-slope form. Point-slope form is going to be y minus 2 equals 1/4 x minus 8. Distribute. Y minus 2 is equal to 1/4 x. Positive times negative, it's still going to be minus. What's 1/4 of 8? Or in other words, what's 8 divided by 4? 2. Then I got to add 2 to get y by itself on both sides. Getting this y by itself. So it's going to be y equals 1/4 x. What's negative 2 plus 2? 0. So you could put a plus 0. You don't need it. I wouldn't put plus 0. I would just leave it as y is equal to 1/4 x. But there it is. Once you get y by itself, there's our slope-intercept form. Remember, the plus 0 is optional. I won't get too fussy up there, but it's unnecessary. All right. Hey, guys, it's the same thing what we've been doing. Point slope form. I give you a point. You figure out the slope. Just this time, the slope is kind of hidden a little bit. Not hidden that bad, right? It's just the part of another line. And then we put it in point slope form. And if we need to keep going, we put it in slope intercept form. So let's go to your next page. Let's start the homework. Parallel lines have the same slope. And here's the thing. We didn't talk a whole bunch about this, so I want to start you on this. Perpendicular lines have opposite and reciprocal slopes. So on the first one, it says, for each equation, find the slope of the parallel line. Look at this little slope of the parallel. And this one's got the upside down t, the slope of the perpendicular line. So look at this equation. Y is equal to negative 3/4 x plus 8. What is the slope of this? Well, the slope of this one is negative 3/4. So if the slope of this line is negative 3/4, what's the slope of the parallel line? Be negative. What is happening? Oh, that's weird. Negative 3/4. But here's the thing. What would be the slope of the perpendicular line? We're talking about how perpendicular lines have the opposite reciprocal. So if this one is negative 3/4, what's opposite? Positive. But what's the reciprocal of 3/4? The reciprocal would be 4/3. 4/3. That's weird how it's changing the line there. All right, number 2, it's in point slope form. There's the slope. Give that a try. All right, and then I give you a graph here again. What is the slope of this line here? So to get from this point to this point goes up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So our slope is 3/1, or just straight up 3, right? So what is the slope of the parallel? It is 3. Oops.